So, I think we're going live. Trying to make sure my lag time's not too far behind me here. There we go. All right, hello everybody, it's Gen 608. It's another installment in Unconditional Surrender, designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games, developed by Mark Dye. This is a continuation of the CUCU strategy line. It's a solo playthrough. The platform I'm using is Board Game Arena version of the game, which is a very good implementation. If you want to learn the rules to the game, I highly recommend going through the scenarios in Board Game Arena, because it will definitely keep you following the rules. You can't forget something. It prompts you for everything. It is a little precise on like when you have to place markers, like your airdrop marker or your invasion, surprise attack markers and things. It follows the rules to the letter. So you have to learn the very specific sequence of placing a marker, one of these special markers, before doing options and things like that. Which is good, because the rules were written that way for a reason. You can't be halfway through setting up an offensive and say, "Oh, I forgot to play my surprise attack marker." Well, too bad. You have to take an action to do that. You'll see up here that I have a clock on my game, so my game is going to time out probably in the next week or two. Even though I'm playing solo, and I'm playing in training mode, which is not supposed to have a timer. There is a timer in Board Game Arena that a game that hasn't been a turn completed, I think it's in 3 weeks, maybe. It will just abandon the game on you. It's abandoned the game on me here 2 or 3 times now. I keep trying to remember to save after each one of these episodes that I'm filming, so that I can just reload it. Playing solo, they expect you to get it done within a certain amount of time. You're on a server, and that's resources that, if it's just sitting there doing nothing, they're going to want the resources back for people that are actually playing. So keep that in mind if you're doing a solo game where you're testing things out or whatever. You do need to get it done within a couple of weeks or so, just because of the way the game works, or remember to save it. I don't know if I've actually done a reload for everybody on how that's done. Maybe I'll do that one of these times here when I get timed out. I will actually show you how you start up a new game with a saved file and how it gets caught up to you. Anyway, we're going into March 1943. It is fair in the warm zone, which is where the Mediterranean is. Problem is, I really don't have the German Air Force here to counter the Allied Air Force and try to start causing some supply problems. The trick to taking Gibraltar is forcing some kind of supply problems upon the Allies. Anyway, when it comes down to declaring war, the Germans are like, no. The Allies are like, why bother? So everybody just kind of skips the whole declaration of war phase. I can't remember if I need to give the Italians an extra point here. I might want to move their fleets around, so I'm going to go ahead and give the Italians an extra point. And I can't remember if I had nonsense to do with the Turks. I don't believe that I'm going to need more than 3 points with the Turks. Might have to do a little bit of shuffling around of some units, but for the most part, the Italians are kind of where they have to be. I do need to get this German Africa army. I was going to put it here in Ezram, but I'm thinking now I might have it ship itself down to Basra, and then I will have another infantry unit start its slow march. Not sure how I'm going to do that, but I need to get a real German unit into Basra. Otherwise, the British are going to be having the 8th Army moving over here. So I don't think I need to give anybody any more points. I don't have a lot of other things to move. So I'll have 31 points with the Germans to do whatever shenanigans I want. The Germans have nothing to play. The Allies are at 5 lost factories for the UK. They really don't need their Ultra for anything this turn, so they're going to go ahead and use it. And this is, maybe they'll chip the Germans, maybe they won't, but the most important thing here is that we're trying to get a factory back. So that's the most important part of this strategy, which worked. I mean, I didn't chip the Germans, but I did get another factory back for the Allies. So now the Brits are only down 4 lost factories. They have 7 factories, and they have 4 Lend-Lease and 3 from their trade. So they have 7, 8, 9, 10. So next turn they'll have 20 production points. They have 18 this turn. And that's important so that they can keep their fleets and convoys and stuff kind of at peak condition. Very soon we're going to probably have to start playing a convoy swapping game here in the Mediterranean, because I've got, like, the Americans are at 4 here. What's the one here? This one's at 3. So they're barely able to keep these things in supply. The Germans get one hit in on those convoys, and somebody's going to have to go out of supply. I have contemplated with the Germans on, I mean, this would have been probably a pretty good turn to go ahead and declare war on French North Africa because I had fair weather, but it didn't. So I think I actually skipped their declaration of war phase or whatever. So I have a strategic move for the Germans. I know that this is going to be here soon, and I have a long time to defend in Turkey. So I'm just going to go ahead and strategically move this guy, the Africa Army, to here. Because then next turn I can move the Italian. I can do a swapping game here. And get the German Africa Army in Basra and possibly the Italian into Kuwait. I'll have a Turk sitting in here and a Turkish army to back me up, that kind of thing. So this Italian army can probably be railed out next turn. Africa Army will move in, and I can move this thing to some place where he can actually become useful. Like maybe put him on the Eastern Front or something like that. So that's the Germans. The West doesn't really have one. I did build the BEF back here in Northern Ireland just because if the Germans should get Ireland in, and I don't have anything to build in Belfast, then the Irish can just walk across and grab Belfast from me, which is a factory, and I really can't afford to lose any production points. I only have 9 willpower, so that's, Britain's very fragile right now. Any kind of successful invasion could spell the collapse of the UK. Which is why I'm defending Gibraltar so heavily down here with the American task force and the 1st Canadian Armored Unit in Gibraltar with air support to try and help the convoys stay in supply and everything else. That's the reason why the fight for Gibraltar is so important, is because if the Italian Navy gets access to the Atlantic, they could quite possibly pull off an invasion into England, and with only 9 points, it's like 4 cities in a unit, and I'm done for. So I have to be somewhat careful with the British, especially if he takes Gibraltar. That's 1 point, and another point for the unit that would be defending in it. That would be 2 points down, so I'd be at 7. That's only 3 cities or 4 cities total, or 3 cities in a unit. So I could be in a lot of trouble if I can't hang on to Gibraltar. So I don't have a strategic move for them. The Soviets, I usually just do one to save points, but I don't think I have any expensive units to move around. Most everything is kind of like at the front, kind of where I want it. This is my, these guys here in the center are my building, my upgrade units, because I'll upgrade like 7 frontline units to guards units in November of 43. And the armor will be upgraded around the same time, depending on where I think I want to go with my offensive. So I'm done with the Soviets, and we have the Axis operations, so there isn't a lot to do. Actually, I should have probably declared war on Greece and just gotten rid of it. Oh well. Oh, how many units? I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm trying to only have to declare war on French North Africa to keep me at 9 or under. Let's see. He would be, what is he? He's 3 in fair weather, and I'm halved. So the best I could get would be 4, 5, 6. What have I got for units? I don't even have my heavy artillery left. So an assault on Gibraltar here probably isn't even going to be worthwhile. So I think all I'm going to do is I'm going to move. I'm not sure this armored unit should have come this way, but we're going to put the armored unit here. Do I have anything to do up here? No, I don't. So now this is a quandary I have with the Germans. I think I'm going to need this airplane to help me take Gibraltar, because right now I'm having trouble overwhelming his aircraft count. The airplane I have in Stavanger. It would mean I'm only +5 against the West, but I think I need to bring it home. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start sending it. So he can fly to here. And then he can fly again. Down to Bordeaux. And then that sets me up for being able to fly in here and try and start working on his aircraft, which I may do even this turn. With the Germans. The Italian Air Force, where the heck is the Italian Air Force? It's just sitting here trying to get better. It's going to probably be needed. I think I'm actually going to put the Italian Air Force in Palermo in case he tries to bring back home fleet. I'm going to have something that can bomb him, get a couple sorties on him every turn. This German aircraft is kind of staying here in case I need to fly over here and take out Greece. And then when I get it to 0, I may rail it down into Spain. One of these turns. Okay, I think. And I had some minor movement here. Am I going to move the Italian fleets anywhere? I don't. I am going to have to use the Italian convoy for at least one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so this guy can only get to here. Turk is going to go back to Haifa. Boom, 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 boom. And then I just have to deal with that for now. And I do have to keep somebody in Tripoli. The logistics of it all, it's scary. I think this German infantry is just going to start on a long march to the Middle East. Okay, maybe help take out Greece along the way. Alright, and that's like the extent of the moves for Germany. Oh no, there's one other thing that you can do here. These two guys can stay in limited supply. One of the things that you can do here or at least you can try to do, and see if the British will go after your convoy. You can try to bring the German convoy down to Spain, but it's usually not worth the trouble. The advantage of bringing it down to Spain is that if you can have it in Cadiz, but you usually want to have an airplane there as well to deter the American and British aircraft, and you're threatening to do an invasion of Casablanca. And so then they want to make sure that they have strong units. But they have a full strength Force H sitting in the North Atlantic, which means it can intercept into Sea Zone 16, which means you might very well not make it on your invasion attempt. So I'm not going to try that right now. I'm just going to sit still. And so I'm done with the Germans. That's it. We're done. I'm not going to skip the next electrician war phase. I am going to skip the next voluntary. This is a new feature that they just added. If you know you're not going to declare war next turn, like you run out of units that run out of things you want to declare war on, you can just skip it. I'm not going to skip it for the Germans, simply because I may want to just, if I get another, won't get fair in April, but I might get a fair like up here, and I might just want to go ahead and take out the Netherlands, or maybe I'll get Ireland in, and I want to be able to do something with them. I don't know. So I'm going to keep my options open here. So they're done. We supply all without a convoy and see how bad our convoy situation is. All right, all these guys are going to stay. For one turn, I think I'm going to go ahead and fully supply these guys. He's going to be supplied through Alexandria. This guy is not doing me any good, so I'm not going to go ahead. I'm just going to send him to Baghdad. Where's that? Oh yeah, he's got to become fully supplied. And then there's one Italian I have to fully supply. Which Italian is that? Which Italian is it? And Basra, who is the first? First we want to have go Tripoli, Damascus. I really hate it that he doesn't, the game does not keep track of how many units are hitting each city. So it's got 1, 2, it just goes to like the closest. So in order to make this work, you got to kind of look, and I've got 1 at Baghdad, 1 at Baghdad, 2 at Baghdad, 2 at Damascus, 1 at Tripoli. I think I'm okay. Why am I at 3? Why am I at 3? 3 and 1. Where the heck is 3? The 2 Germans. Two Germans. These 2 Germans. He's going to limited supply. Yeah, I'm at 3. Okay. So yeah, the Italian convoys are a little beat up right now. I'm trying to figure out ways to get them down as close to 0 as possible. Okay. All right, let's see if that works. All right. Now it's the West. This is about the only thing they're really going to do is they're going to take the 8th Army by naval transport. Come on, click on the button. They're going to put it in here. And in that, now I'll have a viable threat for invasion next turn. because I'll have a real armored unit, which is why the Germans are going to have to swap out the Italian for a German unit so that they can defend this really well. If the British want to land here, down in Kuwait, more power to them. I can make a fight of it with a ground support. If they succeed, I'll have a full-strength German unit here that I can attack him at isolation a couple of times. So might be able to push him right back out. Yeah, I think that's... I don't want to mess with these guys, I don't think. Where's my British? That convoy's at 1. I have an American convoy at 2, which I want to get down to 0, and then I'll swap it in for one of these other American convoys. British convoy at 0. Airplanes, hoping you defend up there. I might need to get this airplane in a swapping position as well. I don't think I have anything for the West. I'm done. So you can see these turns are going rather fast. Now, this time I think with the West, I'm going to probably pull out the home fleet from here because he's leaving his airplanes. I leave it here as long as possible just to try and delay the Italian and German aircraft leaving. But I am going to need home fleet in the Atlantic here real fast. Simply because I need to have an extra unit to make sure that any invasion of England, late 43 invasion of England, doesn't succeed. So we will end our turn. We will not skip either of those phases because I may want to declare war. I don't know. Supply all with that. All right, supply all without a convoy. There we go. Oh, come on. Shouldn't take that long. And now I have things that I have to supply. And because he has his surface action marker, he can intercept me, so I have to do all these supplies by hand around Gibraltar. First off, we're just going to no supply the home fleet because I'm going to eliminate it this turn. So let's just get rid of that one. Okay, so I have 4 units to manually trace supply lines on. And oh, God, are you serious? It doesn't let me move the supply line thing? Oh, that's annoying. All right, we're going to do the most important one first, which is the ground unit in Gibraltar. And he's going to use the convoy that's in Gibraltar. We're going to escort with the fleet. And then we're just going to do a... I only want to give him 1 sea zone to go into, so I'm going to go to Eastern North America for my supply. And the Germans could try to intercept here, but you really want to wait till you've chipped these things down. So actually what I'm going to do is say, if you want to speed it up, you say no more interceptions for this phase. But then the Americans don't have to use their fleets up, so I'm just going to do it one thing at a time just to make them... Let's see, the American fleets would only go up to 2. So yeah, I have to do this. So I let that convoy go through. Let's see, what's the 8th fleet look like? Oh, both his fleets are at... So they won't go up to higher than 2, so they'll still be at full. So this time around when he does the British Air Force, uses the convoy. For the escort. It's the same thing. I didn't realize that both the fleets were at full. So at this point for the Germans, there's no point to this because he's going to have, at worst, he's going to be a +1 to a +1. And even if I stop a supply, the other convoy can still supply everything because this other convoy has This one has 4, so it could supply 2 units. This one has 4. I have to beat the fleet and stop the convoy. I don't think it's worth it. I'm just not going to intercept any more of this phase. Just let this go. If it were British fleets, it might be a different story. But because the Americans have all the... So it's going to take this guy up to 6 and this guy up to 5. Okay. One of them has to go up to 6 anyway, so... And then we're done. And then we go over to the Soviets. I'm not even sure I have a lot to do with the Soviets. Probably put this infantry here or here. I can't remember. Now we'll put them there. I'll put this infantry here. And then I've got 16 left. I need to leave 5. That's 11, so I need to have 14 left. I can move a couple guys. So I'm just going to move these guys like here. And that's enough. And this guy's going to move to here. And that's enough. Okay. And what 14 does is leaves me 5 and lets me build 3 airplanes, which is what I want to do. So I'm done. Done, 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 done. I'm not going to skip declaration of war. I can't declaration of war anyway, so it's kind of pointless. And I'll supply all because everybody's supplied by rail lines. Now, voluntary elimination. I was going to go get the home fleet, and I'm just going to go ahead and eliminate that unit because he needs to be rebuilt next turn. So I confirm that. The Italians are simple. The Germans have 28, and if they go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 3, they still have 5 points left. I don't even think they have anything to build. So they're like, they're going to have 5 extra points that they don't know what to do with this turn. And then they're done. The West, obviously we do the Americans because... Stop it. Do the American fleets. Now the British has got 16. They want to make sure this guy gets up to full. So now they got 14. That convoy in Malta is not really important. So 14. 2 3s and a 4. So we do this guy. Just bring down Bomber Command. Start making maybe a threat. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset both my convoys because I'm not really worried about this here because I also have Fighter Command available. So I'm going to reset both of these convoys so I have all my available convoys will be at 0 now. I have 3 British at 0, 1 American at 0. I think he's at 0 up here. So I can try and do convoy swaps if, you know, I'm getting low. Yeah, I think that's... Now the reason why I leave this convoy sitting in Malta is because once the Germans commit and like they go into North Africa and they go running around and whatever, you'll always have this threat of that garrison unit in Malta. The British bring down their convoy. The air, you know, Axis Air is all busy elsewhere. They bring down that convoy, and British convoys are almost equal to Italian Navy at equal sortie count, which means you might get off an invasion that just kind of screws up the Italians for a turn or two. So it's sort of a minor threat. It's something that you kind of have to think about. All right, that's what we're going to do. Soviets are not going to replace. They're going to, or upgrade. We get to building. This one's easy for Americans. Build their stuff. Don't have points with the Brits to do anything, so I'm done. The Soviets, start building their aircraft. And I left 5 for the Soviets. That's what's important. Confirm. All right, we're in the diplomacy phase. Oh, obviously the Germans want to pull. They could just say, screw it, I'm not going to take a chance on political failure and having Greece activate and let the Allies do the pulling. But for me, it's worth it to take the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a 1 in 9 chance that I'll get a political success. If I do, I can take that pro marker out of Greece, which then kind of closes down the back door and I don't have to worry about it so much. If I get the political failure, the only thing they can do is put a pro marker in Portugal, Netherlands, maybe put a pro marker in Sweden, or activate Greece. None of those are devastating in and of themselves, except Sweden would be a real pain if it activated. But we'll take the chance and pull it. And we pulled a no event, so it doesn't matter. The West is going to go ahead and go. And they got a no event. And then the Soviets go, well, let's just reload it back to the same odds. And we're done. And we're done with the turn in about half an hour. So now we come down here and we check the weather. In April, we got fair again in the Med. So this time, I'm seriously thinking with the Germans that it might be time to go ahead and start the French North Africa campaign. It's a little premature, but I know I'm going to have fairly good odds of fair weather most of the time. I may have to fight him some out here, but he can't guard everything because he doesn't have the physical units. So I'm going to go ahead and declare war on French North Africa. And yes, you see how it always is like, are you sure you want to do that? Because I could say, oh, no, wait a minute, I don't want to do that. And then I can come back and say, no, wait a minute, yes, I do want to do that. Until you hit confirm, you're not locked in on that declaration of war. That's kind of important to realize. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go for it. And then they roll a die, and they rolled a 1, which means I'm going to actually have to fight my way across North Africa. So the French have some garrison units. Where do I want to put them? I probably want to put a garrison unit. We know that it's fair weather, right? Ugh. It's fair weather. That's bad. That's very bad. Because they only have like 5 will points. So it's like a couple cities in their unit, or get to Tunis and they conquer me. So I have to try and figure out a way to slow them down from getting to Tunis. So I'm trying to make them use up movement points here. That's why these garrisons are going where they're going. It does have an airdrop marker, so I better not. Okay. I don't know. I shall rarely get the French North African army. And that's it for my declarations of war. I'm not going to go after Greece, too. See if we can politically get rid of Greece. The West. That's a real... This is a toughie. I was thinking about going ahead and declaring war on Ireland just to conquer it and get rid of it. Because then I can move that BEF unit down into French North Africa if I get that done right away. So, I think that's what I'm going to do. There's only one place really to set up. You have to set up in your capital because you'll fall without it. And we're done. The Germans will give a point to the Italians. I don't think I need to give a point to anybody else. No, we're just going to give one to the Italians. Got 33 points now. And the USA will, of course, give a point to the French North Africans because they can. It doesn't cost anybody anything. There's no chits to play here, so we're just going to roll the die. Germans are only +5 now because I moved that airplane out of Stavanger. Allies are still only +2. They haven't gotten a really good bombing campaign going yet. And we got good die rolls here. They rolled a 1, I rolled a 4, so brought the British lost factories down even further. So now they'll have 7 minus 3 is 4 plus 7 is 11. They'll have 22 next turn. So that's good news for the Brits, since they want to build their home fleet this turn and be able to start rebuilding it. Germans are going to get a garrison unit to build. So things are not too bad. Now I could try to run the German convoy through the straits here, grab like an infantry from Brest and throw it in Cork. I don't know how successful that would be because Force H. Could end up intercepting me on my move into Brest and then intercepting me on my move into Cork. Which would on the Air Force I think I might just end up with if lucky, I could end up with an infantry in Cork with no way to supply it. But it would be keeping the BEF up here. So maybe it's worthwhile trying. He does have a surprise attack marker, which is the scary part. What the heck? Let's try it. Right? This is all about showing you things that you can do. Opus strategic movement phase. I'm sorry, I'm screwing around here. Strategic movement, strategic movement. What was I going to do here? Oh, I was thinking of getting this Italian infantry out of here and moving it over to here. Because I'm going to move that German unit into there, and I need to have, since I actually have to fight real units, I'm going to actually have to have Italian units over here. Oh, I have to hit the confirm button. Dum-dum. Now I actually have strategic movement possibilities. Oh, you know what I should have done? What I should have done is I should have put that the Tunis guy. I should have set him up like right here on the border and then railed off the task force to Tunis and then brought this airplane over there. Yeah, that was dumb. Dumb on my part. And this guy's not on a rail, so I can't like just pick him up and throw him over on the east coast. Or western coast, whatever. Nope, don't have one. Just stay where I'm at. I'm not going to do anything today. All right, here we go. So let's do this first part here. We're going to take this convoy. We're not going to escort. And we're going to move ourselves into harm's way here. When we go here, the fighter command can intercept us. We're trying to get to Brest, but we're going to confirm here. Fighter command will intercept, even though it's, what's it, poor weather? It's poor weather, so it's not all that great. I'm a 0 to his -3. Only hit him for a sortie. So he continues on. Goes here. Now I can hit him 3 times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit him with Force H first. And see what I get. And I got a DR2. So he's required to go here, but now he's at 3 sorties. Now the question becomes, do you want to pick him up and move him down to Spain, where he might be a real threat? Or do you want to try and put somebody in Cork to make the British take longer to knock you off? That's a real puzzler somewhat. Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's go for it. We're going to send the 12th to his death. We're not going to escort here, because if I can get through there with one sortie left on him, then I will use it to supply the guy in Cork at the end of in the supply phase. Probably could have flown an airplane up to try and escort now, but I'm just trying to get to here. So in I go. I think we'll use the 8th Fleet out of Tangiers first, because he's a 0. Yeah, 0 to -6, so it's just a matter of whether I roll high enough. I did not, but I did just put a sortie on him. That's the important part. Then I used the 4th Fleet to do it again. And I got a DR2. So he's going to go in. Now he has to make a decision. He's got 6 sorties on the convoy. If I go into Cork, I won't be in supply. If I just go back to Brest, I'm fine. So this is one of those decision points. The point of putting the infantry unit in Cork was to make the British have to take longer to fight me off. Okay. And I always have the chance next turn of just sailing out, getting myself whacked. Oh, wait, I'm going to be disrupted, aren't I? Well, this was the whole point of it. So he is disrupted. I don't have any way to supply him. If the British don't get all the way to here and knock him off, next turn I will have 2 sorties on this guy, and I'll just come out and just go back to Brest. Because that port is open, I need to go cover it. Because otherwise he'll just drop a garrison unit in here just to take away my strategic warfare stuff and try and do invasions and things. I don't want to do this. I do not want to give him a toehold in France for free. I mean, make him roll dice, right? All right, let's do the North Africa attacks. German aircraft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Can't get there, can't get there. Italian aircraft is kind of useless. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, I don't think I'm going to get that far, so I am going to move the German aircraft down to here for now. And then we're going to go here and attack there. Obviously, the Germans are throwing in their airplanes, so it'll be a +5. I don't really have anything to use my ground supports on, so I'm just going to go ahead and use one here for the initial attack. Confirm. And we commit. And he blew me up anyway. So I get to take that hex. I'm going to move into Gibbs. Then I'm going to attack here. Again, I'm going to use the German aircraft. I think I want to save this ground support for the final defense of Tunis. Maybe? Sir. No, you want to stop the Germans where they're at, so we'll just use it up now. And I got to retreat, which is good. I think I'm going to retreat over the mountains into the rough terrain behind the ridges. It blocks this road over here. Doesn't block this one, but does block that one. Now, a lot of people would be tempted to move this armored unit up here. Don't do it. Because if you go up here, this guy can go 2, 4, 6. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. If you go up here, you could actually end up getting yourself isolated. It's not worth it because this infantry unit here can only go 1, 2, 3, 4. So he can only get to where this EOZ is. He can't quite get to Gabe's, so you wouldn't be adjacent to anybody. But if you stay here, you can move this Italian unit here, and then he won't be isolated. Because it would probably be worthwhile for them to take a pot shot at me isolated, because it'd be like +2 to my +4 or whatever. It would be worth it for him. I don't know. Going into that mountain hex just doesn't seem like a good idea. Because it would cost me 2, 3 to go this way. This way it's 1, 2 to go this way. Yeah, we'll just stay where we're at. We're happy. And because this guy, I didn't think about it, I probably should have supplied him knowing that I was going to declare war if I got fair weather. But I wasn't expecting fair weather, so that's why I didn't do this. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to say we're done. We've chipped him down some. We're going to go ahead and move this Italian infantry up for this turn. We're going to supply him and him. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move the German aircraft. Well, wait, escape. I don't want to do that. I want to move the German aircraft. I'm going to go ahead and move the Italian aircraft down a space. And then I'm going to move the German aircraft up to Palermo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it covers through here. And to conquer this, I need to get to Tunis. It's the fastest way to conquer them. And I'm going to have a couple of Italian infantry that can move full movement points to get in there. And I'm going to rail something in here into Tripoli. Not sure exactly how I'm going to do that, but fair start. Now, I guess. But I really wanted to be annoying. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could fly an airplane into Cork. I have 2 sorties on it. But I wouldn't be flying from inside British territory. But I could just try to degrade his aircraft up here. Up in Belfast. Oh, yeah. Wonder if that's worthwhile. Well, I barely have enough aircraft to do what I'm trying to do at Gibraltar. And this was an annoyance at best. Right? When do I get my heavy artillery back? I don't get it till May. I also get a surprise attack marker then, and then I don't see my submarines until June. He's going to get another factory next turn. Some upgrades. Ground support he gets back in June. Hopefully I'll get rid of them in May. Depends on the weather in the Mediterranean, of course, in the warm zone. Well, attacking here just doesn't seem to make any sense. Huh. Well, that's a problem. I mean, I could come down here and just start bombing on his airplanes. But it really only works when I outnumber him. Well, maybe if I just concentrate on one of the airplanes. Right? That the thing to do? I think it is. I can't remember. I have a vassal game where my opponent did this much better than I doing this. So I'm gonna move that airplane to here. And then we'll bomb the Brits once. Bomb the British Air Force again. Fail miserably and fly away. Because we don't want to be taken up to 6 sorties. Fly back up here. He flies down to here. Ooh, I really nastied the British Air Force. Interesting. Can't really get through the American fleet, but I definitely nastied the British Air Force. Interesting. Maybe I shouldn't have flown that German Air Force back up north. Now that you look at it, he'd have been better sitting down here with 4 sorties. Because then I could have flown him into here. And this guy would be attacking at 0 to +1 and maybe chip away the American Air Force. So I was too... Oh, I know why I had to do that. Because I have to keep 2 units in the west. Because my 3rd airplane is actually coming through the Mediterranean. So, well, I think I'm going to just finish nastying the British Air Force. Do I want to take a long shot here? Try and hit this convoy? He's going to be escorted by this fleet, who's going to be a +1. I'm going to be +2 for German, +1 against a Navy, so that's +3, -3, so I'll be a 0. It is +1. If I can get through that, I might be able to hit the convoy. It'll be at a net -3. And I'll be at -1. If I can hit the convoy for 2 sorties, then he only has 3 units that he can supply. So it's probably worthwhile to try this. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to go after the convoy with 3. So actually I'm supposed to be allowed to not escort if I don't want to. That's odd. Alright, so I'm going to have to go after here. So it's 0 to +1. Let's see if I get through it. AS2. So no, I'm not getting anywhere. Whether I'm at 5, whether I'm at 6 won't matter. Because if I fly up here, I'd be at 6 and then be at 5 coming back down. So either way, it's fine. I'm there. Okay. It was a long shot. Okay. So if I attack the Canadian, I could be 4, 5, 6, 7, Plus 7 and halved to his plus 5. No, he doesn't have a British Air Force. It is plus 3. Huh. 4, 5, 6, 7, that would be plus 6. Could go plus 8 to make it plus 7 and halved. He's plus 3, so his minimum is going to get a 4. So I need like a 5 or a 6, and he needs to roll like a 1. That just doesn't seem like it's a good idea. I think we're going to wait. On that, is there any other moves I need to make? Yeah, I was going to put this, march this Yugoslav up to, he's going to go hold his death position. Sir, what else was there? There isn't a lot for me to do with the Germans yet. See, similar to the way the Russians are just kind of like, sort of in their positions, the reason why the Germans are back from the front line is until I know exactly what I'm going to have to hold here, I don't want to commit. I really want to send him off to the Middle East. Hopefully I won't need him to go into Greece. Oh, and then there's the Western Desert Force. Now known as the 8th Army. So I've got 3 Germans and an Italian to supply. All right, I think I'm done. I don't think I forgot anything. Garrison this. Hissy Fit Cat. Yeah, I'm not gonna... I don't want to advertise where I want to defend in the East. This is a game that too many times I've seen people just like automatically upgrade like their infantry for the Russians. It's cheaper to move single infantry. They only cost a point, and you only have like 18 production points, maybe 19 before the war starts. If you move around your regular infantry first and get them where you want those guards units to be, then when you do your upgrade, everybody's where they belong. And same thing with the Germans. Instead of shoving everything up in the line, then saying, "Oh hell, that's the wrong." The wrong line, I need to put them over here, or I need to move this guy around, then you have to spend a bunch of production points. It's like, just take one turn when you have most of what you're going to defend through the winter in 44. Once it's pretty much all over here, you just spend like one turn and go bam, 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 and you make your line. And you're done. And then the Russians don't know where you're really going to defend. They know you've got to defend the Kharkov Basin here. I hate talking about the Ukraine area because of all the terrible things that are happening over there right now. But that is one of the places in the comeback for the Soviets that they kind of have to do. There's some factories there that are important to their production. And the shortest route to Germany is through the north, so the Germans have to put up some kind of defense up here too. Although it's the worst terrain for the Soviets to have to push through. So we get to that point, we'll talk about it then more. But that's why you don't see me moving a lot of Germans around over here. There's no point to it. I've got several turns Come end of summer, September, October, I'll start moving people around because I'll have to be sending things back over here to defend in the long term. Right now, I'm just trying to keep the West from becoming too annoying so that I can, basically it becomes a delay game. Once the Soviets return in the beginning of 44 or whatever, then it's just the Germans are just trying to keep everybody from getting into Germany. Opportunity presents itself, you'll see me do a counterattack or whatever, but in general, the idea is just keep them out of Germany, which is the whole point of trying to do this Gibraltar assault, trying to cut these guys off and get them surrounded and do all that kind of stuff. Because if I can get Gibraltar, which is a medlock is what it's often called, yeah, the West could probably mount a real invasion in Basra, and they'll probably mount an invasion in Norway. But they can't do Basra, Norway, and France. They just don't have the physical units. So they have to commit to something. And like I said, at this point, for Germany, it's just delay, 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 delay. And I may very well not go through that phase of the game if I manage to get Gibraltar, because it's very boring. It's something that you should experience for yourself. I don't really want to give away too much of that. Yeah, I think I'm done. All right, I'm going to keep the voluntary elimination phase because I'm not sure if I want to eliminate that convoy. I have to rebuild him there. No, I'm not going to eliminate anything, I don't think. So I got to do my supply, which is going to be, it's going to hurt. I'm going to have to use up some of the Italian convoys down here. All right. Yeah, so these guys got to come out of Alexandria. He's going to come out of Port Said. He can go to limited supply because I don't really need him. Who is that? Problem I have is that I want to save myself time, but I can't. That's the 9th. I think that's the 9th, so I can limited supply him. Wow. 4 and 1. 5 units I'm supplying? 1, 2, 3 German. Yeah, 3 German and 2 Italians. Do I really need to keep that Italian? I want the 8th in supply, but maybe I can have this guy go not in supply. Don't think I need both Italians for the assault up into French North Africa, because I have a bad feeling I'm going to get poor weather or something. So I'm going to try and conserve my... So grand total of 4 sorties there, so yeah, that sounds like it's right. And you can see, where is he? The 12th Army does get limited supply out of Dublin, so until the British take it away from me. So let's just supply everybody. And it's the West. All right, the West is like, okay. There's German in Britain. So I'm going to do this first. Attack here. Oh, it's assaults because it's poor weather. So we'll just go ahead and do our assault. Throw in our tank. Throw in our airplanes. We get up to +1. These are zeros. Germans don't have anything else to do with it. So it's going to be +1 to +1 in an assault. I could throw in the free forces, but I think I want to save that for possible defense of Gibraltar. Just trying to see if we can get a retreat. No effect. Okay, nothing happens. But I've kept him from being able to like run up and force me out of Belfast. He's got to fight me up here. So yeah, it's annoying to say the least. So here's logistics shenanigans. I'm going to pick up, hello, pick him up. They will transport him. And he's just going to go drop him in Glasgow. So the airplane is there. Now, I'm trying to remember, I got 6 movement points left. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go back to here. And then I go here. Right? I've got 2 movement points left. And then I go here into Casablanca. That's what I call logistics shenanigans. All right. And if I confirm that naval path, now he can intercept me here. Okay. But what I've got is in here, I've got 2 sorties on this convoy. I've got 3 sorties on this convoy. And even if he were to hit me for 3 sorties with his surface action in his airplane, I'd still have 3 sorties here. So I could split up the sorties amongst these convoys and keep a pretty good supply line going for quite a while. So rather than do that, I'm going to conserve my airplane, although it's probably going to get bombed by the Americans anyway. I'm going to save my surface action for when I can possibly hit somebody and do real damage, because this guy's going to get through no matter what. So I'm going to say nope on that and just let him go. Okay. And yes, the American aircraft will make this guy go up to 6 before we get into any kind of it's like the most I could do on him was 1, so it was just a matter of well, it is poor weather. I might actually get a bombed marker in here. So we're going to have the British do a bombing run. Got to make sure I fly around his... See, where his aircraft is, I got to fly a very specific path. So I'm going to fly to here. And to here. And this way. And to Metz. It is poor weather. I might get through. Who knows? So confirm that, and then he's going to come fly against me. And he only got 1, so I will keep going. And he will hit me again. And I did get the DR too, finally. So if it had been another +1/+1, then the Germans would have had to think, do I really want to be at 1 sortie or just let him have the bomb marker? I probably would have gone to the 1 sortie because I can't really do much with that aircraft at this point. And then that brings us to another, this is long-term strategic nonsense. Yes, I have 5 sorties on me. And yes, when I fly down here, I'm probably going to get stopped. Right? But now I'm going to make him go up to 3 sorties. So that next turn, he'll only be at 1 sortie. And if I have 4 sorties to go in, I might take him up to 4 sorties. And it's just long-term economic wear down of the fighter force by just sacrificing my bombers. Because right now he'll go down to 0. So I want to try and make sure that he doesn't go down to 0. I want to have him have at least 1 sortie on him. And the Germans, since they don't have the extra +1 in Norway, from the Norway port, they definitely want to make sure. Oh, they didn't do so well. So this is actually working out very well for me. I really don't think I want to let him get through, so I'm going to try one more time. Okay, now I'm not going to go up to 5 sorties, so I'm just going to let him go. And I'm done. I rolled very poorly with the Germans. I can't afford to be at 4. So I got 1 bomb marker in there. So it'll be +5 to +3 next turn, which is good for the West. So the Germans just had some terrible, terrible die rolls there. I think for the West, that's pretty much it, right? We're spending all our points to bring our stuff down. Got to do my supplies down here. He doesn't have an aircraft. He has one guy. He has one guy that can intervene, and I have plenty of supply available. So yeah. Oh, double check. Make sure this guy could be a 4, or this guy could be a 4. Best I'd be is 3, 4, 5. 6 with free forces. And I cannot place partisans in Baghdad, because that's actually German. It's a German ally, not a... So I don't know. Definitely got a pretty good blockade on Suez and Basra right now. I'm tying up 2 German armies, so that's something. And an Italian army. So that's just for me having somebody where I can actually move them to Europe in 1 turn. So, because it's 3 to the what I'm talking about is if I decided to move him to Europe, like say in 44, it's 3 into the Indian Ocean, 3 into the South Atlantic, 3 into the North Atlantic. So that's 9 movement points, and then 1 more movement point could put me like in 7 or 16, and I could land in a port. So I can get him to the European theater in 1 turn. And then the following turn he'd be useful. So from that standpoint, I still have the flexibility, and I'm making sure he has to keep everything down there and things in supply. Now having home fleet in Malta might have been a better idea. Just replace it there and make him spend a sortie or 2 to knock it off so that he supply issues. Although, one thing I did realize, if you're sitting in Malta and you're trying to do interceptions for supply, you can get to C-Zone 24, right? If the Italians are over here, where they're at, they can go through C-Zone 25, C-Zone 27, C-Zone 29, and land in Bulgaria, which is a captured country. So they can use that port for supply, and then they can just rail off to everywhere else. So they never have to worry about being intercepted. So having a fleet here doesn't help, because you don't hold the other end of the Med. All right, I think I'm done with the West. Not sure about the elimination phase, if there's something I need to get rid of, but maybe I'll get rid of this convoy. Although I love having him just kind of sitting there threatening things. So I'm going to do the easy one. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the fleets first. So if he uses his surface action marker, it'll be at least 2 turns before it comes back. He's going to need that long to get across the North Africa. Wow, this is a toughie. Trying to figure out the order that I need to supply him. I'm going to do these first. He doesn't have a lot of intervention, so I'm just going to supply the fleet. The fleet goes out to supply itself. I'm trying to think, should I even bother to intercept at this point? Or do I just have to wait till I can get the Italian and other German Air Force, across French North Africa? Well, I'm definitely not intercepting the fleets as they go. Because that's just wasteful. And we got that done. Okay, that takes care of the fleets. Now we have questions for the Germans. Do I bother? Do I bother trying to stop him? To stop one of his supply runs? Probably not. Well, okay, for me, if I was going to do this as the Allies, I would take the 1st Canadian. I would trace his supply to here. Use the convoy, no escort, trying to tempt him to come get me, right? It's like, come on, come get me. Hit my convoy, please. Actually, I don't want to go there. It's like, hit my convoy if you want. So now you have to choose. Now I could hit here. This is fair weather. So at +1, I have a chance of getting a DD3. I'm not sure that it's the right thing to do, but I'm going to do it just to show you how futile it really is. So we're going to go ahead and intercept. We got to put ourselves in a port here. All right, because it's poor weather. Poor weather? That thing's in the warm zone. Oh no, I'm +1 and he's -1 because he's -2 for convoy, -1 for sortie, and +2 for being American. So he's -1 and I'm +1. So if you look at the combat results table, there's only, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? There's a 5 and 36, a little bit under 1 in 6 shot of hitting him for 3. Fair chance of getting him for 2. So I can just kind of cut down his total number, but I can't really stop it because he's got all these others that he can get through with. So we just go for it. I got 2 on him. And that, stop the supply, but now he can just supply everything. So it'll put like 2 here, and none on this one. So then it'll have a 3-3 and a 2. So, and that's just, at least it's a 3-3 and a 2 instead of, there's 2 extra sorties involved there, but now for 2 turns I won't get my my surface action back until, what, June? Is that when he comes back? Yeah, he'll come back in June, but then I'll have my submarines, and the submarines can make a difference in those combats. Soviets. What am I going to do with the Soviets? Soviets. I don't have anything to do with the Soviets. Soviets are actually very happy where they're sitting. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to do with them at this point, except to build up my airplanes. So that's what I'm going to do. So, pass. I'm done. Don't have a voluntary, don't have a declaration of war. So, get out of here. I supplied them all. And now, this is voluntary elimination. I was thinking I might have to eliminate something, but I don't think I'm going to. So I'm just going to confirm out of this. The Germans now are doing improvements. So airplane, convoy, convoy. The Germans have 26, so it's airplane, 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 and their convoy. So that I can try and run the infantry out if they need to. Next turn. All right, they're done. And now the British, bit of a quandary here. They really want to do Bomber Command, Force H, and they want to get 2, 3, 6. All right, so that's what they're going to do. They didn't have anything to build. Oh, they had home fleet to build. Dang, dang, dang. Undo. Undo. Okay. Dang. Home fleet is 4. Let's take me down to 8 and 3 6s. So Force H isn't going to get done because I want to make sure that I have, yeah. Got at least, normally I would do Force H here, but I want to get home fleet built. Like up here someplace so you can can intervene in C-Zone 10 and stuff. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to build it, but all right. And then the British and then the Americans, get rid of that, 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 that one, and that one. So much fun to do the Americans. It's just like click on your units, click on your units. Really should be actually automated for us. Well, then boom, and boom, and boom. And then I'll build another airplane next turn. Confirm. I'm not going to upgrade. Germans do have the point. Do I need this garrison? Oh, I have a real infantry here, don't I? So maybe I can go ahead and get this garrison set up here. Confirm. And the British are going to build their home fleet. But where? Where do I put home fleet? Put them in Belfast? Can't intervene in C-Zone 10. If I build him up in Edinburgh, he can intervene in C-Zone 10. I'm not too worried about C-Zone 9 because he has to go through C-Zone 7. Or am I? Ooh. When does he get his surprise attack marker back? Next turn. Things could be very interesting here. That's why it was important for the Germans to be in Cork. All right, I think I need to build home fleet in Belfast. Germans could throw a surprise attack marker and like land in Liverpool and move one space into Manchester. Boy, oh boy, I have troubles right here in River City. Not enough ground units. Huh. Well, that's an interesting situation. Can't afford to buy the surprise attack marker for the Brits. So confirm. The Russians are going to... We're going to go ahead and get another airplane on the board. Just go ahead and drop it in Kursk. We're done. And then we're into diplomacy phase. All right, well, the Germans are trying to get that political success. And they pulled a political failure. So now I got to make decisions. I can put a pro marker in Vichy. I can put a pro marker in the Netherlands. I can put a pro marker in Sweden. I can put a pro marker in Portugal, or I can activate Greece. So we know he's going to be at 9. If I activate Greece, I'm going to force him to go to 10. And force him to have to attack me in Greece. But then what do I do if I pull political success or the pro marker? The dagger in the German heart, I think, is for me to try and get Sweden on my side. So if I can pull the political success or the Western pro marker, or the pro marker in Sweden, then Sweden will join my side. And Germany will be in a world of hurt. Greece is not that important. It's still a threat, but Greece is not that important. So we're going to go for Sweden. We're going to put a pro allied marker here, because I think that's the one that squashes Germany much more. And then the West is going to pull a counter. And they pulled a no event. Okay, so at this point in the West, any political failure for the West does nothing to them because they don't have anything that they're adjacent to anymore. So we're going to go ahead and put the political failure and the no event back in. And this means that the Germans pretty much can't pull because they can't give the Allies Sweden because they're busy elsewhere. It's like one war at a time kind of thing. And the Allies have the ability to either bring in Sweden or Greece and just kind of make life a havoc for the Germans in 43. All right, and then we're going to stop here. What's our weather? And our weather is still fair we've had fair for March, April, and May, and I just haven't been able to capitalize on that. But that should help me get through and hopefully break through and conquer French North Africa. And then it's just a race to get over to Casablanca and Spanish Morocco and try and get an isolation on try to get the what do you call it? The British isolated in Gibraltar and cut off and all that good stuff. So it becomes a race to see if I can get there before the Russians come in and take it out and lock up the Med. And I think we're done. Yeah. So there you have it. A couple of turns, March and April of 43. Again, this is Unconditional Surrender. It is on Board Game Arena. So if you're interested in this game at all, that is a good way to go learn the rules. It enforces the rules. It actually has a couple of rules that are enforced that probably aren't rules yet, but may very well become rules. One of them is a lot of times people will put garrisons on islands and then say, I'm not supplying them. In Board Game Arena, it says you don't have to check supply for those things, so he doesn't check, so you can't say don't supply them. So if you want to get a garrison off of an island, which is always in supply if it's in the port on the island, you actually have to move the blighter off the port, whether it's to another space in the island or to, buy a convoy and put him someplace. So, all right, yeah, I'm done 608. If you like what you see, hit the thumbs up button. Helps the algorithms YouTube. And if you really like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notify button, and you'll be notified when I schedule another stream and or when I upload videos. I am uploading videos on things. I am going to be trying to put together a video series on a recent GMT re-release of the Vietnam 1965-1975. I'm going to be there'll be some for showing you how operations work, and more specifically the setup and then the the first interphase, just because those things are so convoluted that it would be nice to just have sort of a video reference. I'm going to follow the rulebook step by step, just to give everybody a chance to see how it's supposed to work out. Will not guarantee that my strategic decisions will be sound, but they will be strategic decisions in that game. Hopefully, I do have a new computer on the way. Hopefully it will be a little better for doing recordings and posting up these videos. And yeah, I think that's it then, kids. So, until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.